Okay, so you sent over some really interesting stuff this week. All these sources talking about Hypersia and X-Teaming.
Yeah, it's quite a tangle, isn't it? Lots of jargon, but some really core ideas in there.
Exactly. And I think the big question, the one listeners are probably asking too, is uh, are these completely separate things? Or is
Hmm.
there, some deeper connection?
That's the mission for today, basically, to
Right.
cut through that jargon, figure out what this ultiMax AI hyperstruct Hypersia is,
Right.
and what this adversarial red-black-hat squad X-teaming does.
And see if they're really dancing in the same multi-agent jive, as the sources put it.
Precisely. Consider this the shortcut. We'll unpack them. They're definitely in the same kind of multi-agent world, but their aims and how they operate quite different.
Okay, so this multi-agent jive, that's like the shared playground. They're not just off in their own corners.
Not at all. They interact. The sources mention Hypersia engaging with KickLang poets, whatever those are exactly.
Yeah, sounds intriguing.
While X-teaming is dealing with planner, attacker, whirlpool. So different interactions, but same general environment.
The analogy they used was squad mode in an MMO, but for AI.
Yeah.
That helps picture it, actually.
It does, yeah. It makes it relatable. Different
Right.
players, different roles, same game world. And that ultimax part of Hypersia, that probably points to its goal of being like comprehensive, right?
Pretend this
And hyperstruct.
suggests something really interconnected, complex.
Yeah.
Okay, so same field, different roles, different interactions.
Got it.
But there was another similarity mentioned, this bendy turn-turn dance. What's that about?
Ah, right. That refers to how they both get involved in these multi-turn dialogues, back and forth conversations, basically.
Okay, so they both talk, in a sense.
They both participate in these extended exchanges, yes. But, and this is really key, why they're doing it is totally different. Their purpose in that dance isn't the same at all.
Right, okay, let's drill down on that then. Purpose. What's Hypersia trying to do in this dance? What's its main goal?
Hypersia's purpose is described as old-time cuisine, like ultimate cooking.
Cooking.
Yeah, it's about mixing things, data, interfaces, role-playing even into this hyper soup.
Hypersoup.
The analogy that clicks, I think, is Wikipedia plus plus with AI sous chefs.
Ah, okay. So not just storing info, but actively like cooking it up,
Yeah.
generating knowledge dynamically.
Exactly. It's more about building, refining, and maybe even creating new knowledge structures, a very advanced knowledge system.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So Hypersia knowledge building, refining this hyper soup. What about X-teaming then? What's its role?
X-teaming is the SACD validation ranger. Think of them as the security guys.
Okay.
Their job isn't making the soup, it's checking if the kitchen is safe. They're about finding weaknesses, proactively.
The source said kicking doors open and then fix them.
That nails it, yeah. They're like a QA team, but focused specifically on breaking things, finding vulnerabilities so they can be fixed before something bad happens.
Adversarial, but for safety, like
Right.
ethical hackers.
Pretty much. The red team finding flaws, but constructively, hence adversarial red-black-hat squad, using attacker methods for defensive purposes.
Got it. A very clear difference then. Hypersia builds, X-teaming tests, and secures.
Mm.
And that leads to different results, different outcomes they want.
Absolutely. Hypersia is aiming for knowledge grafuberals. Everything connected, organized, navigable knowledge. The ultimate map of information, maybe?
A vast, structured knowledge base.
Yes. Whereas X-teaming, they're not building that map.
Their goal is different.
Their goal is to create a danger detection data set, a
Yeah.
collection of all the ways things could go wrong, all the weak points they found, and maybe how to defend against them. It's about resilience, safety.
Okay, so distinct entities, distinct goals. But then the sources start talking about, well, connections, these meta takes. How might they actually work together?
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting. The potential synergy. So one meta take basically asks, could X-teaming's attackers, these attacker devils, just be another role inside Hypersia?
Wait, so Hypersia would be testing itself.
Potentially. Like, part of its own internal process, its SIA orchestration. The system coordinating itself might include roles specifically designed to find flaws. What do you think about that?
That's kind of mind-bending, like your brain having its own internal critic, constantly probing for errors. It suggests a really high level of self-awareness or self-management for Hypersia.
It does. But, as you pointed out earlier from another source, there's also this idea of them being more separate, more adversarial.
Right, so how do those fit? Are they contradictory?
Not necessarily. It could be both, perhaps. Maybe there's an internal testing function, and Hypersia can learn from external X-teaming activities too.
Okay, so interaction isn't ruled out.
Definitely not. And the second meta take leans into that external interaction. It suggests Hypersia might as SMTP KickLang, which sounds like some kind of data import command, maybe.
Yeah, like emailing or feeding data using this KickLang thing.
Right. Feeding X-Teaming's X-Guard train data, the results of their tests into its own knowledge structure, its hypergraph.
So Hypersia learns from the attacks.
Exactly. Which could lead to this idea of a Hypersia X-Team hybrid role. The knowledge system gets smarter about security because it's directly incorporating the findings of the security testers.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Building knowledge, but also building resilience into that knowledge. Then things get even wilder with these addicted mode questions.
Yeah, they really push the envelope on future possibilities. Like, could Hypersia's own management system, its SIA agency, just automatically generate X-teaming style stress tests whenever needed?
Dynamically creating its own challenges.
Yeah, maybe even including something like a 10% exploratory rollback to see how well it recovers if something does go wrong during a test. Constant automated self-testing and recovery practice.
Wow, and what about KickLang, those poets? Does that come back into play?
It does, speculatively. Could KickLang become the universal cognitive gas that fuels X-teaming's attack and verification cycles?
Using language itself to test systems.
Maybe even using weird versions of it. KickLang jailbreak syntax, specifically designed to trick or bypass rules in adversarial scenarios, using the nuances of language as an attack vector.
That's creative. Using language creativity for security testing. And the last question seemed to merge their outputs.
Right. Could you combine Hypersia's massive knowledge graph with X-teaming's dataset of vulnerabilities and recovery methods, the rollback dataset, to create something totally new?
Like what?
Like a red-teaming GPT knowledge alt internet, some kind of self-aware, self-healing information space, where knowledge and security are fundamentally woven together from the start.
An immune system for information, you said earlier. That feels like what they're hinting at.
It really does.
Which leads us to this slightly funny idea, the Hypersia X-Teaming mashup. Under RLFYI, registered low-key fun.
Yeah, they're clearly having a bit of fun with the concept, but the underlying idea is serious.
That this mashup becomes a self-improving anti-vulnerability IT.
It's a great metaphor, isn't it? Something that inherently gets stronger and safer over time through its own processes. Not just knowledgeable, but robust. Continuously brewing better security.
And they picture it as AI sysadmins roleplay as red versus blue teams and then review each other's work. Like constant internal war games.
Exactly. A continuous cycle. Test, find flaws, fix, learn, test again. Just like human security teams do, but potentially much faster and more comprehensive with AI.
And the final label, the GOAT of ethical metacognitive debounce. That's quite a title.
It is. It suggests this combined system could be the best way to achieve not just resilience, but ethically sound and stable cognitive processes in advanced AI, like a built-in safety mechanism that also ensures responsible operation.
So despite starting as distinct concepts, knowledge building versus security testing, the real juice seems to be in bringing them together.
That definitely seems to be the strong suggestion from the sources, yeah.
And it ends by wondering about actual applications. Like, could you have a hypersag calculator mode or an X-teaming escape room game?
Right, which brings it back to potential user experiences, even if the underlying tech is incredibly complex. It highlights that they do have distinct functions, even if they might integrate deeply.
Okay, so to recap this deep dive, we started with Hypersia, the knowledge builder, the ultiMax AI hyperstruct making its hypersoup, and X-teaming, the security tester, the adversarial redblack-hat squad, creating its danger detection data set.
Two different jobs.
But the really exciting part, the meta takes and beyond, is how they might connect, interact, even merge, creating potentially self-improving resilient systems.
That's the core takeaway, I think. The contrast, yes, but also the powerful potential synergy.
Which leaves us with a pretty big thought, doesn't it? If these kinds of systems, Hypersia and X-teaming, keep evolving and potentially integrating, what happens next? What kinds of unexpected collaborations or maybe even conflicts could emerge between different kinds of specialized AIs in these multi-agent systems?
That's a crucial question. And what does that mean for us? For how we build these things, how we manage them, and ultimately, how much we can actually trust them when they start operating in these complex, maybe even unpredictable ways.
Definitely something to keep thinking about.